All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Game number 2 of the night. Going to get started up here between Complexity and Curse Academy. Gonna hop on over here, make sure you guys can see everything, and make sure that I get the summoner blockers. There we go. Gonna have those this time around. Azaraki, welcome back.
It's good to be back and casting this next game as well. Unfortunately, we're not going to see an undefeated versus undefeated. Both of these teams are 2-1, so they both want to maintain their positive record. A loss at this game means they're going to go even, which still isn't all that bad, to be honest. But let's go ahead and look at some of these bans already. 280 carries, 380 carries, Draven, Ezreal, and Twitch. Wow, these guys really don't like the 80 carries, and I think at this point, someone's probably going to end up picking Caitlyn. She's just such a strong 80 carry, and when you have champions like Draven, Ezreal, Twitch banned out, it almost seems inevitable.
I'm going to go ahead and call next ban Caitlyn. I'm saying, going to do it just because you said, oh. Commentator curse, calling it out there. Thresh gonna be the next ban. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting lineup. This is. I mean, I've been kind of like out of town traveling and lots of weird stuff going on for like my last couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to keep as in touch with the challenger scene as I'd like. This is not the Curse Academy team that I was expecting to see. This is several different faces here, but I'm sure that they're faces that are going to just impress me with their luster and wonderfulness. Nunu and Nocturne going to be the final two bans coming out from both of these sides, and the first pick, with no hesitation whatsoever, is going to be a Vayne getting locked up by Mega Zero for Trooper.
Oh yeah, Vayne is really the other really high priority AD carry that I see right now. Vayne is also extremely strong, especially late game, and Vayne versus Caitlyn late game, Vayne has more raw power. She basically overpowers almost every other AD champion in the late game if you just take a look at her raw damage output. The biggest difference between Vayne and other AD carries are some of the more pickier things, where Vayne doesn't have a lot of range at all. Well, Caitlyn has a ton of range. She can position herself a lot more easily than Vayne can, and even though Vayne has a tumble, it still benefits to have that range from afar. So Vayne does so much damage. I want to see how the rest of the team comp works out for them. They're going to have to want some really tanky champs to be able to be that front line for Vayne and make sure no one actually ends up touching her.
So we see the first two picks coming out here for Curse Academy. Going to go ahead and grab up Jarvan and Elise. I'm assuming that those are actually going to be pretty much the roles that they're already picked up. Although those two could once again be flopped around. Although it would be kind of silly for them to pick out of order then. So just pick their own champion. But so probably Elise in the jungle with Jarvan up in the top lane. And it's going to give the opportunity over here to Complexity to go ahead and pick what they want into those matchups. So they're going to go ahead and grab Nami. So you mentioned in the last game we talked about the Nami Caitlyn lane. It's going to be Nami and Vayne this time around. Pretty similar as far as how that lane operates and the different benefits that it gives, except for the fact that Tidecaller's Blessing kind of needs to be comboed in with Tumble, as Vayne is a relatively short-range AD carry. So you kind of got to get a little bit of reposition first before you get the bonus damage and start chasing people down with the slows. Top lane pick is going to be a Renekton here for Mega Zero, and Mega Zero's Renekton is just it's a thing of legend. It's just so dirty. He just does it dirty up there.
Oh yeah, he's got a great Renekton play, and I really like to see it in this top lane. Now, what Curse Academy still has in their hands, they could still swap their top and jungle champions. Either Jarvan or Elise could go top. They could both go jungle. So they still have that sort of ambiguity, and Elise is going to be able to farm from a distance. She's going to be able to stay out of Renekton's range a lot more easily, and she can also predict, say, if Renekton decides to slice and dice in to try to get a stun down, she can repel extremely quickly. Now, granted, on the way back down, she can get stunned immediately if there's nothing to repel to, but it's good to mitigate that damage at the very beginning, and it also helps with ganks. So to combat this bot lane, this Vayne Nami bot lane that we see so often, it's such a strong bot lane combination. If a Nami bubble lands, you can follow up with a Tumble Condemn. That is some really, really nice guaranteed stuns. But let's talk about this Sona Varus pick for a second. Sona Varus, that is a poke lane if I've ever seen one. Sona herself has a lot of poke in terms of using her Q to poke out and also using Power Core directly afterwards. But we also have Varus, who himself has quite a bit of poke. He lands 2 or 3 auto attacks and then follows up with a hail of arrows or a piercing arrow. That's a ton of damage put down, and whenever he lands an ability, any Blighted Quiver procs that are procced by auto attacks on said champion that he hits is going to take a lot more damage, and it is percentage damage, so it scales really well into the late game as well. So that's a very strong pickup by the bot lane, and as we know, Vayne's the thing that Vayne doesn't really like too much is poke lanes. Now, granted, she does have Nami for sustain, so that's going to help her out a little bit. They're going to be able to sustain that lane until Nami can land a bubble and an initiation can actually be made.
Whew. Sorry, if you want to go ahead and just keep going here while I try to get the summoner blockers lined up just so. These are kind of temperamental.
All right, that sounds fine by me. It looks like for the rest of complexity, they're going to go ahead and pick up both Gragas and Hecarim. Hecarim, we actually haven't seen too much recently, but that doesn't mean he's not a strong champion. He's got so much mobility in his kit. It really helps him out with ganks. It really helps him out to initiate late game. And on top of that, his ultimate is still a flush ability. You know, they may have shifted some of the damage on that a little bit, but at the same time, you can never discount the fact that it will fear whoever's at the impact spot. That is huge when they're trying to initiate a team fight. It scatters people by itself, which is something that's really, really nice to have. And on top of that, they have Probably going to go ahead and play Gragas, so that's even more disengage. So they have quite a bit of peel, they have a lot of engage, they have a lot of disengage, sort of a jack of all trades team. You know, they even have poke, a little bit. Gragas has quite a bit of poke, even though the rest of the team doesn't really have too much. It's still a good amount of poke to have. Whereas the purple team, we're seeing Curse Academy. They're going for a Sion pick. Now, this strikes me as pretty odd. We haven't seen Sion played in an extremely long time. He's going to be reworked pretty soon, but that has not come yet. So I'm interested to see what they do with Sion. It looks like to be a mid Sion. They could obviously pull the lane swap where Elise goes mid and Sion goes top, but you know they've already sort of locked in their positions. So I'm just going to say that it is a Sion mid. So AP Sion, it's sort of an odd well, Sion in general is a pretty odd pick. I'm not sure whether it's better to build him AP or build him AD. But either way, he's sort of a gimmicky champion. If he gets quite a few early kills with AP Sion, then he can snowball into the mid game extremely well. When it comes to the very late game, he falls off a little bit again, but he can still be really useful in the fact that he has the stun, which is guaranteed to hit so long as there isn't a spell shield or something like that. It follows you around. It's much like Tariq's Dazzle. And it does quite a bit of AP damage on top of that as well, so he can burst pretty well. But I don't know. I'm really interested to see how this Sion pick works out.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, it's kind of a bit of an abandoned meta. It was really, really popular, I mean, forever ago, like many, many, many moons ago, just because of the extreme roaming power. And he was also one of the first, like, super mega farm mid. He just put on your shield, blow up all the creeps mid. Put on your shield, blow up all the rays. Then put on your shield, blow up all the creeps mid lane, put on your shield, run to bottom and kill someone. Like, he just kept doing that over and over and over again. You'd see these colossal farm numbers, which thanks to his E would turn into colossal HP numbers. And he ended up being like, he's got an interesting late game because it's like, okay, I do like a lot of damage in about a half a second, and then I don't do anything for a long time, but thank goodness I have like 4,000 HP, so it's okay. Okay, my cooldowns are back up. I used my Zanyas earlier, okay, and now it's time to go blow people up again. But
yeah, he does quite a bit of blowing people up with his shield. Although, one of the bigger problems, it shows more in AD Sion rather than AP Sion, is he's pretty kiteable. And even with AP Sion, it's still pretty kiteable. He can throw out a stun, but if he doesn't land the follow-up shield, that's the majority of his burst. That's basically not going to be used. It's AoE burst as well, where his stun is a single target burst. So he can be kited really easily. And with the amount of disengage on the side of complexity, I think they're going to fare pretty well against Sion, and they might not have too much trouble in that case. And even, say, Vayne tries to go after Vayne, Vayne can condemn him while the stun is on its way to Vayne. So she'll be stunned, but the condemn bolt would have already gone out, so that'll be able to push her back.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with game number 2 of the night between Complexity and Curse Academy. Don't go away. All right, guys, and we're back. Hopping into the loading screen here. Complexity on the blue side, Curse Academy on the red side. I'm Malphus X, being joined here by Azaraki Dragon. And Azaraki, you seeing anything in the summoner spells? Anything that you want to talk about before this game gets started?
Well, not too much. The biggest thing that stands out to me at the very moment, well, actually, there are two things, and both are on the side of complexity. We have an ignite on Nami, so an ignite on the support, and we also have a teleport on Gragas, a teleport on Prawley. So Gragas is a really good ganking champion. Once he hits level 6, that displacement of his on his ultimate is just huge. He can knock someone halfway across the lane. It's a great ability to initiate a gank. It's a great ability to secure the kill on a gank. It's really just such a great ability, and he also has the dash on his E that slows people, and it is also a gap closer. So he's got a lot of kit on him that allows him to gank really, really well. Unfortunately, he's not going to have the extra laning power that he would if he were to have an ignite, so he's just going to have to make that up by pulling off successful teleport ganks. If he can gank in the bot lane, secure a double kill, then it's worth it not to take ignite. Whatever action, whatever aggression, whatever kills he would have gotten with ignite would be worth it if he can secure those kills. But yeah, that's about all I see in terms of oddities in summoner spells.
All right, so game number 1 getting started here. Players buying their first items, making their way to the base. Sion going to pick up the Doran's Ring. Man, this is such a blast from the past. I just feel like I'm playing in 2011 again, or whenever it was. Yeah, I think 2011 was when that was really popular. Start off with that Doran's Ring, just that additional early ability power, a little bit of additional early mana regeneration. And actually, now with the way Doran's Ring was changed, this is actually even better for AP Sion, because you get additional mana for every unit that you kill. So you actually get a pretty decent chunk of mana back just for turning your shield on, running out, auto-attacking the backline once, and just blowing it up right away. It's interesting. It's an interesting adaptation. It's been a long time since we've seen any AP Sion, so I'm going to get all nostalgic and teary-eyed. I can already tell.
But already, it looks like Curse Academy, they're going to go ahead for a red invade, and it looks like Complexity, they don't necessarily know about it either. I think if they knew about it, they would be sending Renekton down as well, but Nami is going to have to watch out a little bit. She's not going to walk too close to the bushes. They do have a ward right there, so they probably did end up seeing that. They're all staying outside of that part of the jungle, but there we go. It looks like the rest of Curse Academy is just going to walk past that ward once again, so Complexity, they realize that, alright, our jungle is safe. We can go ahead and play a defensive style. But it looks like we might be pulling a lane swap, as Prawley is going to go ahead in the bot lane, and they're going to send Nami and Vayne to the mid lane, it looks like, which is fairly interesting lane swap, although it does make sense. And on top of this, we're also going to see the fact that Prawley can make use of his teleport a little bit more than he normally would be able to as well. And it looks like a Curse Academy, they're going to go ahead and predict this. It looks like Sion is gearing up right there to go ahead and head towards the bot lane, and there we go, he's going to do just that, while the rest of the team takes their blue buffs.
This is a lot of interesting lane swapping coming out here. So, there's very few lane matchups where you actually want to put Vayne into a 2v2. Right, her early game power just isn't super impressive, and she gets so strong in the late game that you just want to give her a nice safe lane. So anytime you can force a 2v1, it's great. But Curse Academy, they recognize that was the situation. They recognize, okay, with these picks, this is probably something they're going to do. They might not go for the 2v1 swap into the top lane, but they might go for one in the mid lane. And they also did throw that ward down to help them get a little bit of extra information there in the jungle. So they're going to go ahead. They send Varus and Sona to the mid lane. I still think in the end that Complexity are going to end up winning just because they've got Sion down in the bottom lane where he's not really going to be able to roam around that much. He's not really going to be able to farm the jungle. He's not going to be able to do too much invading. So they're kind of shutting him down and forcing a champion that likes to be in and out of the lane and making him just sit in one lane.
Yes, they are. The only problem I really see with sending the Vayne Nami combo mid, but we have a Hecarim gank.
Hecarim coming in. Vibes getting absolutely blown up. First blood going to MIA with that ignite. Fabi going to get chased back out of lane. And Complexity strike first, and they strike fast.
Oh yeah, we already talked about how Hecarim is such a powerful ganker. He's got so much mobility. We just saw right there, he ended up behind Vibes, he ended up behind Fabi. Before they could even react, they were thinking, oh wow, there's a Hecarim behind us. They didn't even flash in time. We saw Hecarim was able to push Vibes before Vibes actually got out the flash. So unfortunately, he just sort of flashed back to his original position and couldn't escape in time. Very good play by Complexity. already putting on so much aggression. And as I was saying before, the only problem I see by sending Vayne mid is the lack of walls to condemn people into. There are a couple of walls near the sides of the map, but there isn't that big bottom wall near the brushes that people use a lot of times for the stuns, but they will be able to put up some really good wall stuns to those little two corners right there peeking in the mid lane.
Exactly. So that opening bit of aggression is realistically the only thing we've seen that's kind of separating these two teams right now. The 700 gold coming out for the first blood and the assist. Yeah, it's 600 gold for that. So a little bit of a CS gap. See if we can find that Vayne up a little bit there. And up the top lane, Renekton doing pretty well against Elise right now. Mega Zero, you see, we talked a little bit about, we kind of hyped his Renekton play in the beginning, and so far he's kind of showing why. Not only building himself a lovely 15 CS lead, but also has Rux harassed down below half health already.
Yeah, Mega Zero, like we said before, his Renekton is extremely strong. He's able to bully out whoever he wants, and even though she started the cloth armor, along with 5 potions, she's already, used all of those potions, and the cloth armor isn't really helping her out too much as well. He's going for another stun. Look at that. She's already back down to half health, despite her best efforts to, get some of her health back sustained through that lane. So Mega Zero doing a great job of keeping the pressure on in that top lane, and it looks like MI is just going to throw out a bubble to try to delay the backing of One Bad Brad.
Yeah, I mean, Mega Zero he's not letting the pressure up. He's still hiding out under the tower, continuing to try to harass Rux as much as he can. Taking him down already, all 5 health potions are done, and the man still doesn't feel safe hanging out in the lane unless he's under his tower. That's some terrifying Renekton play. And honestly, you got to say a lot of the pressure that was relieved because of Hecarim picking up that first blood in the mid lane is kind of what's allowing Mega Zero to play this aggressively. He doesn't have a ward up right now. He just has to be confident in his ability to kill whoever comes, and also confident in his team's ability to apply pressure across the lanes and keep too many people from coming up to him at once.
It's like Ninja Ken was in for a bot lane gank, perhaps. He's going back, but there we go. He's going for the gank.
He's going to come back in. Jaxmus is super far forward here, but it's all a bait. One Bad Brad coming out from the other brush. Probably going to have to burn the flash to get away from that one. Very nicely played there by Curse Academy.
Oh yeah, they either predicted that gank or they just were able to be at the right place at the right time. But One Bad Brad is catching out MIA. The flash popped.
MIA going to try to get on the run. Tidecaller's blessing. Give him that extra move speed. Jaxmus is there saying, what move speed? Locking him up. Nice bubble. Going to actually lock 2 people up. Throws on another Tidecaller's blessing. Are you kidding me? MIA going to get the flash out of One Bad Brad. Will fall down. Yeah, Jaxmus is going to flash forward, but One Bad Brad ends up picking up the kill anyway. A little bit of miscommunication there, but they are able to chase down that wayward Nami and equalize the kill score 1-1.
And it looks like Curse Academy will not be going for this dragon, even though, they ended up killing the support and the jungler is going back. They don't really have too much damage. They don't have enough tankiness this early into the game.
Mega Zero popping the ultimate, throws the ignite down Rux, immediately goes up for the repel. Mega Zero going to have to go ahead, turn back away from this one. What looked like a sure dive ends up being turned into Mega Zero losing all of his HP and a summoner spell for not a whole lot. He wants to continue this chase down, see if he can get anything done. The spiders will betray Elise if he's got slice and dice up, as it'll give him the refresh pretty much for free, but he cannot chase that down, and Rux lives to fight another day.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, One Bad Brad came in for a flag and drag combo onto Trooper, but a well-timed tumble is going to get him out of that without too many problems right there. So he still keeps his flash, as well as his cleanse. It's going to help him out quite a bit in the future. Ooh, Vibe's taking quite a bit of damage. And the most important part of that is that they're either going to delay the back of Vibes, or they're going to be forcing her not to back at all, which is pretty huge. She's going to be sitting at fairly low health. She's not really hurting in terms of her health pool or mana pool at the moment. But really, the thing that is bad about that is that she can't go back, she can't get some items. And right now, she's sitting on 600 gold, so that's enough for the Ruby Crystal, giving her a little bit more tankiness and starting to build towards that Sightstone. So that's something that little plays like that can really help edge out an advantage little by little. And Complexity already looking pretty strong in this game with that first blood and the amount of control they have. Mega Zero, we got to keep going back to him. He's doing extremely well in the top lane. The farm difference is about 20 CS in favor of Mega Zero. He's doing very well.
And he's going for that first item, Tiamat, and I don't know if he's going to go all the way to turn it into a Ravenous Hydra right away, or if he'll just sit on the Tiamat for a while, but he's looking to turn himself into a one-man split-pushing mega threat. He's just going to sit up in the top lane and continue pushing the waves and continuing to force people to come deal with him, and if he has his way about it, he's going to get pretty unstoppable, and his team is going to be able to take advantage of that kind of pressure to just gain all sorts of objectives around the map, gain all sorts of map control, take down all sorts of towers, and just generally be as obnoxious as possible.
Yeah, one thing I'm actually not really seeing too much, especially since there has been a lane swap. We're not seeing too many aggressive plays for towers. And as I say that, we actually see Chuper going towards the top lane on Vayne, going to place a ward and then back out. I'm not sure if that was really the best use of her time right there. She couldn't go up for a gank, and she's just missing out on a lot of CS and experience under the tower.
Yeah, but I mean, they did get the ward down to protect Mega Zero, so that's pretty important. Mega Zero continuing to trade out with Rux, mostly just ignoring him and trying to get as much farm as possible. Rux, those scaling damages with max or missing health, current or missing health, I should say, doing quite a bit of work there as Rux is actually able to push Mega Zero back and belay some of that aggression right now. Mega Zero does have his ultimate, so he feels confident sticking around in this one. He might change his mind once he sees Jarvan come back out from the other side of this brush.
He might just do that, and Jarvan is going to go ahead and wait for the gank. He's debating on whether or not to go in. Mega Zero actually dicing out in time, but there goes the cocoon.
He's going to come back out. There's the ultimate coming out right away. Teleport coming in, though. Mega Zero's trying to bait this out. Can he pick up the kill? Yes, probably drops the ult immediately. They pick up the kill onto Rux. Now he's chasing down into one bad Brad. Double kill for Probably, and double buffs on the Fat Man.
Oh, wow. Amazing play by Probably right there. That teleport was so clutch right there. He was able to save Mega Zero, pick up 2 kills on top of that, and they're going to get a tower out of this as well. Probably doing an amazing job with that teleport. They predicted that aggression perfectly. And, maybe the plan wasn't necessarily to save Mega Zero, but, they still got the kill either way. They still pushed down the tower. It was such an amazing play right there, and they're going to be really happy sitting on that tower, as well as their 3-kill-to-1 lead.
Yeah, I mean, that was some next-level baiting. I mean, you see Renekton come in with that low health, right? But Mega Zero, he played it so smart. He didn't go just full-on aggressive. He made sure that he sliced and diced back out. He forced people to burn summoners, burn ultimates to come back out and chase him. And because they had to burn so much to actually chase him back out, it whet their appetite all the more. They really, really wanted to pick up that kill, and they were just so committed. By the time they saw the teleport, they recognized that they had no chance. Ninjakin coming in on a Fabi. They burned 2 ultimates to push him back out, but here comes the crescendo. MIA going to flash back out as the Chain of Corruption goes down. MIA going to be able to get out of this one, maybe just because Cataclysm isn't up. The Sona will be able to pick up the kill there. Hymn of Valor plus Power Core, just enough damage. Vibes walks away with the kill.
And at this point, the top lane, they've taken the top lane tower Complexity has, so they can start roaming around mid, they can start heading bot, they can start making more aggression happen around the map to start snowballing their tower advantage, which is really something that we saw in the last game as well, where one tower led to another tower, and suddenly all 3 outer towers were down, and that gives them so much map control over buffs, over big objectives like Dragon, and even really late on to the game, Baron, if you have that tower control. It's such a great combination to have. And right now, we see actually Mega Zero picking up the early Tiamat. Tiamat, really good item on Renekton, and he can afford to do that as well. He's so far ahead that he just has the Giant's Belt along with it. He got them both at the same time, and he's able to retain the tankiness as well as get the offensive offensive stats of Tiamat, and the Tiamat also gives him some health regen as well, which helps him sustain the lane even longer on that. So it's a great item on Renekton, especially when you can buy the Giant's Belt at the same time.
Yeah, he just does. I don't need shoes. Why would I buy boots? I'm an alligator. Alligators don't wear shoes. You're crazy. He's just gonna run. He's really, really tanky right now with the Doran Shields, the Giant's Belt, plus the ultimate whenever he needs that extra burst of HP. He's got a significant amount of burst damage both from his combo. He's got Ignite. He's got the Tiamat proc that he can pop as well now. He is, I talked before about how he's gonna try to turn into that just super mega top lane threat. He's well on his way already. Throwing down the ward on the red buff so he has extra vision of anybody coming down or anybody trying to take a red buff that he can maybe mess with. That should be coming up within the next minute. So Mega Zero he's just setting up shot in the top lane, and it's business as usual for him. Although he's coming down for Dragon right now, so maybe less than usual. But that's not the point, okay? That's not the point right now.
Yeah. They are going to go for the Dragon. There are no wards there for Curse Academy, and even though everyone is making a beeline towards the mid lane, so they realize, all right, they're probably going to be taking Drag. They don't have any sight on it, so they don't know how much health it's at, and right now it's almost dead. They don't know that yet. And here we go, we might be seeing the ensuing team fight.
Probably throwing out the ultimate, not really going to get a whole lot there. The Chain of Corruption coming back down, nice crescendo, locking up a lot of the team. Jackson is coming in from the other side. Sion picking up the first kill of the fight. Rux chasing down another one as he picks up the kill on Nami. Fabi going to go down as Mega Zero is just absolutely titanic right now. Going to try to run into the Dragon Pit and see if he can't slice and dice his way over a wall. He will fall down. Jaximus picks up his second kill of the fight, second kill of the game as well. And Curse going to be able to answer back with quite a few kills.
Oh yeah, even though Complexity got the dragon, that engagement sort of evened itself out because 3 kills for a dragon and 1 kill, it's almost worth it. Complexity still came out in the top of that engagement, but not for long as we see Curse Academy. They're going to go ahead and start pushing down this mid tower. As we keep talking about this tower objective, it gives so much map control, and Chuper taken down extremely low by Jaximus down in the bot lane. He's actually going to have to be careful. He can be tower dived extremely easily, especially now that the minions are up against the tower. He's going to have to be careful. Oh no, he's just not going to end up going for it. No flash either, but they do end up taking the mid tower, so that's a huge win for them. So at this point now, that fight went in favor of Curse Academy because they got 3 kills and a tower rather than a dragon and 1 kill. And even though the tower and the dragon are worth almost the same amount of gold, it's the map pressure overall that really sets the difference. And in the bot lane, Jaximus taking another tower after he ends up picking up the kill on Chuper. So they came out ahead in that engagement, and that's something that Complexity they might want to watch out for next time.
Yeah, they have to be very, very careful with their usage of the ultimates. That fight, they just weren't able to combo it together just right. Like, they want to use the Gragas ultimate to disperse the team and isolate 1 or 2 targets, preferably high-priority squishy targets, then use the Nami ultimate to disable those. But One Bad Brad sniffing out this invade on the red. They do have the ward down there, so they're going to spot that out. Ruck's going to help him secure that, and they will probably put that over to Fabi. But they need to be very, very careful using the Gragas ultimate, the Hecarim ultimate, and the Nami ultimate to get the correctest placement and to get the correct lockup so that Chuper can just go to town and deal as much damage as he pleases.
And there we go. So it looks like Chuper and MIA are going to be the ones trying to pressure down this bottom lane, but Chuper still has to watch out. He's taking a lot of damage from Jaximus, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful right there. And what I want to see is a little bit more of Complexity's team fighting. They've sort of fought that pseudo team fight at Dragon, although their attention was all focused towards Dragon for that, and probably was going to go ahead and try to initiate the fight. Unfortunately, he couldn't land the barrel that he needed, and the fight just ended up snowballing in Curse Academy's favor at that point. So I want to see them fight a more collective team fight where all of their focus is at the team fight, is on the same champion, and they can go ahead and burst down whoever they want. And after that happens, I think they can keep the rest of the team fight rolling in their favor. Mega Zero has a lot of potential to catch people out. Ninja Can has a lot of potential, probably does. There's even MIA on Nami. There's so much initiation on that team that they can really be winning these team fights. They just need to make sure that they don't get countered by Crescendo. That's really where Curse Academy is going to be able to turn fights around, is through Crescendo. Vibes, that's all on him. He's got to land the Crescendo. Even if the Crescendo doesn't land, we still have One Bad Brad's ultimate and Fabi's ultimate, but it's nowhere near the hard CC of a gigantic AoE stun.
Right, and so much of that is once again going to come down to the usage of the CC, but for Curse Academy as well. I mean, they've got a lot of opportunities to make good picks. I mean, if they land one Cocoon, then it could be a Chain of Corruption, then it could be, Sion stun and shield pop, and that person's probably dead because Sion's going to deal a lot of damage. Went with the first item, Morella Nomicon, so he's going to have a little bit of cooldown reduction there. Going to have that, the health, the heal debuff rather, once anybody gets below 40% HP. And there's a lot of people here who actually do have just like minor bits of inbuilt sustain that do become really significant in drawn out team fights. That Morella Nomicon combined with the burst that Sion has, he's going to get a lot of money. He's going to get his money's worth out of that.
Oh yeah, especially with the cooldown reduction on Morella Nomicon as well, and with the needlessly large rod, I think he's going to go ahead. It's either going to be a Zhonya's or it's going to be a Deathfire's Grasp. Both items are really good on Sion because the Zhonya's is good on Sion because it gives him a lot of AP, a lot of armor, and on top of that, Sion's kit is revolved around being in the middle of a team fight. He's going to run in, try to get his shield to damage as many people as possible, so the Zhonya's is going to help him survive the burst damage onto him that comes after he tries to get that shield off.
So you see Rux and Mega Zero once again, the immortal duel up in the top lane. They just try to pound each other in the face, and no one really cares too much. They just continue trying to sustain up as best they can and keep themselves in the lane for as long as possible. But, yep. Both teams, it seems like right now they're content to just farm and wait for another major objective to spawn. Both supports, running around trying to run the vision war against one another, oracles and pink wards and all that, and just try to keep their laners as safe as possible and just prepare for the next objective.
Yeah, although I'm not sure if waiting for the next big objective to come back up is really the best idea right now. That big objective, as it seems, is going to be Dragon. What I want to see both of these teams, trying to force down towers a little bit more aggressively. And unfortunately, that's a little bit harder for Curse Academy to do since they already have the mid and bot tower down. And Mega Zero is staying in that top lane, he's going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing that top lane. There's not really too much that Rux can do against it. So Curse Academy, they're not going to be able to push out as much as they want to. However, Complexity is still in a good position to push. They can send 3 or 4 people mid and try to poke down that tower as much as possible. As long as they can avoid the engagement from Fabi, from One Bad Brad, then they'll be fine doing that, and they can retreat after they take down, a quarter or half of the tower's health, and then back off, maybe do it again, maybe roam to other lanes. Mega Zero might be going in for a kill in the top lane. He still has his ultimate up, but he looks like he's just going to go ahead and run away.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, he's trying to bait someone into coming up to deal with him. He still has the ultimate coming out. The fact that he only has to TM out, not the full Hydra, is going to mean that the only sustain he has is coming from the Call the Meek. But that still is a pretty significant amount of sustain. As you see, he just slices through one side of the wave, uses Call the Meek, and then just makes his way back out before Rux can really do anything nasty to him. And you see the CS gap that he's been able to open up. I mean, 60 CS right now between these two top laners, as he's just been having a pretty terrific time of it. And when they come down for team fights, he is going to be absolutely massive. The next dragon has respawned, so kind of expect to see teams gravitating towards it here very, very quickly.
Yeah, and I'm actually seeing a little bit of lack of ward coverage from Complexity, but there goes the Nami ult.
Fabi, Chupa really wanted to get the stun back out there, but wasn't going to be able to do so. Chupa does pick up the kill as Mega Zero is there. Ninja Kid coming in with the ult behind Vibes. There's the condemn into the wall. MIA picking up that kill. It's going to be 2 for none in favor of Complexity. They're going to be content to settle for this tower first, but you have to know they're going to turn off for a dragon before too long here.
Oh yeah, and I love in that fight how Complexity, they basically used the dragon as sort of a pseudo bait. We had both Nami and Vayne sticking in the mid lane, Chuper and MIA ready to engage, but we also had Mega Zero. He was on his way down, but for all Curse Academy knew that he could be going down for a dragon play rather than ganking the mid lane and trying to take that tower. And Ninja Ken on Hecarim was also near the dragon. He was ready to engage on that mid lane. They were able to take an easy tower out of that. But unfortunately, I'm not sure if going towards the dragon is really the best call at this point, as they're taking a lot of tower damage. But smartly by Complexity, they're sending half of their team back while the other half is finishing up dragon. So they're able to keep the pressure off their mid lane and take dragon. Along with that, they took another tower. MIA might have to be careful here. They might get caught out.
Yeah, Ninja King going to be the first target. MIA going to get taken down by Rux immediately thereafter. 2 very, very quick kills there in favor of Curse Academy.
Oh, that was just not a bush you wanted to face check. And are they going for a bit? They are going to go for a Baron. I'm not sure if this is the best idea. 20 minutes into the game, don't really have too much power to take this, especially when 3 members of Complexity are still alive. They're going to throw out the Varus ultimate. It's going to miss. They don't have that for the next fight. They're going to have to be really careful at this point.
The Baron's so low. They have to commit to this. The barrel is there. It's not going to be good for the steal. Curse Academy picking up a very, very clutch Baron, and just a beautiful recognition of them realizing that they had the opportunity to go for that. Very, very brave play, and boy, did it pay off.
Oh yeah, it paid off so much. Chuper was actually down in the bot lane the entire time, so it was a 2v3. They couldn't really do too much about it, and it's funny that you mentioned the amount of sort of sustain that they have, especially with Sona. Sona was able to sustain them through the fight. He was able to give them armor and magic resist, and on top of that, Jaximus, he used his ultimate. Yes. He was giving everyone health as well. That's really another big part of Sion's kit, is he's able to keep the rest of the members of his team healed while he auto attacks. It's a great ability to take Baron, and unfortunately, the Gragas ultimate was used in the last fight, probably didn't have it up for this fight. He did try to steal it with a barrel, but it just wasn't enough to secure that Baron, and a sneaky play by Curse, but it really paid out for them.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, the AP Sion's not really going to get as much sustain for the team. That's kind of one of the tricks you have to be a little bit more conscientious of with AD Sion, where he just has so much lifesteal. He can just keep his entire team full and healthy the entire time while chunking Baron down again and again and again. Jackson was just saying, dude, AP Sion can do it too. We got no problems here. But Curse Academy, they're going to have those little purple spinny books around them for the next few minutes, and we'll see what they're going to be able to do with that. Like, picking up the Baron, that was great. Recognizing the opportunity to do that was, great game sense. What are they going to do with it now? They need to be able to get down some more towers. They need to be able to take some more objectives. And realistically, they have to start pushing through and try to get this done now, because they are up against a Vayne. And while the Sion is going to be really good at shutting down that Vayne, just because he has this massive zone threat of, at any point if you walk through here, I'm going to deal like 1,500 damage to you, they still can't just let Chuper get to super, super late game.
They really can't, and he's just doing that right now. He's going to go ahead and push bot lane as well. Unfortunately, that means he's not here for the ensuing fight, so Complexity's going to have to be playing really careful with Mega Zero getting caught out.
Yeah, Mega Zero, they see Ninjakin's there as well. Probably comes in with a teleport. The ult's actually going to push Vibes away. One bad Brad on the run. Ignite ticking down. Won't be good for the kill. Just barely going to be able to get himself out of that one. But Curse Academy, they made their decision. They decided, okay, we have Baron buff. We want to try to push the top lane. They haven't been able to get anything done. And Trooper is just down in the bottom lane, farming as pretty as you please.
Looks like one bad Brad is going back for the health and also to stop Trooper, but it looks like, it might not be in time. Trooper is going to be able to take this tower before one bad Brad gets here in time, so that is 2 towers in the bot lane, and, they haven't even taken the tower top lane, so even though they have Baron, they lost 2 towers for it, which is really, really significant, and they still can't push down onto this tower. There's so much disengage on the side of Complexity that they just can't initiate under this tower, especially now that one bad Brad is gone. It's a 4v4 under tower. The Baron buff isn't going to be enough to bring that back into the favor of Curse Academy, so unfortunately, they weren't able to make action happen with the Baron, and I'm not sure if sending everyone top to just stay there for such a prolonged amount of time was really the best idea in that scenario.
I mean, you look at Vayne. Vayne is now up 55 CS over Varus as well. That was a really, really smart play there by Complexity, saying, Trooper, we don't need you. We can keep this tower up. And it's also worth pointing out, we're 24 minutes into the game, and they just took a 4-man hard stand on an outer tower. Like, that is how much control Complexity are trying to maintain over the map, that they don't even want to let an outer tower go at 24 minutes. They're going to do everything they can to keep that up and give Trooper as much space and buy him as much time to farm as possible.
That also goes a little bit towards their comp as well, and unfortunately Gragas probably once again throwing out a barrel. Unfortunately, it's not going to make action happen, but looking at Complexity's comp, they have so much zoning power. I ask a question, where are you going to stand in order to damage that tower? You have Probably going to throw barrels at you, you have MIA going to throw Aqua Prisons at, and there goes one bad Brad trying to initiate, but there goes the counter, there goes the disengage from MIA, and as I was saying before, there's nowhere to stand if you want to try to take a tower against this team of Complexity. You really have to make sure that you have a really good man advantage, or you initiate a good fight under tower.
Exactly, and Trooper is going to get hit by the cocoon there, but he's going to be just fine. You saw MIA really wanted to make sure that they weren't able to initiate the fight. He threw down the tidal wave and then recognized that the cocoon was probably going to end up landing on him, so he just flashed away immediately. Wanted to make sure that they gave absolutely nothing over to Curse Academy.
And they give nothing they did. They still retain all of their towers, and the Baron is ticking down. Actually, the Baron is completely gone right now, so even though Curse Academy got the Baron, absolutely nothing came from that outside of that first team fight they won. They didn't take a tower, they didn't take any big map objectives outside of that, and at this point, Complexity, they can bring the game back themselves as well. They just need to make sure that they can bank on a good engagement. Probably, unfortunately, hasn't been landing as many ultimate barrels as he would like. One good barrel, and he can really just set an entire fight in motion, knocking 4 people, scattering them, and knocking one towards you. That's pretty huge, no matter who it is. Even if it's one bad Brad who's on Jarvan, you can still burst him down really quickly, and a 4v5 is something you never really want to fight. Obviously, it would be better if you sent someone like Fabi, Rux, someone like that. Actually, the worst person to barrel might actually be Vibes, because he can, get right next to the rest of your team and throw out a crescendo while the rest of his own team follows up with their sort of CC as well as gap closers. So that might be something that they might want to avoid. But all in all, Complexity's got a really good team fight. They have a lot of tower defense, and they have a lot of pushing power. So it's really hard for Curse to get back into this game. They're going to have to catch people out little by little, and with Sion, that's not too hard to do. If they catch one person, 2 people out in the jungle, as we've seen, they've done it before. They actually did it to take that Baron, is catch 1 or 2 people out in the jungle with their amount of CC.
Exactly. So once again, Complexity sending people up towards the top lane, making sure that tower doesn't fall down. Curse Academy, they took down that first Baron. They weren't able to make anything happen. They're going to try to group up, get war coverage back down, see if they can bait Complexity into another bad fight, see if they can pick up another Baron buff and make some more happen with it. At the end of the day, as the buff is faded and now everyone's just running around at their normal power, the gold lead is still almost 5,000 in favor of Complexity. I want to say that it was within 2,000 right at the time that Curse Academy took down that Baron. So we're seeing the devastating effects of what essentially was just a pre-made split push for Complexity by Curse Academy. They're just like, okay, just leave the AD carry down there, that's fine. We'll just send everybody else to stand around. And Complexity really took advantage of that. And right now, I think more than anything else, that's a big difference between these two teams.
It certainly is the biggest difference, and we'll see that difference come even more prevalent when it comes time to go for another Baron, to bait out another Baron fight, or just take a Baron in general, because as we know, if the bot lane is pushing for your side, then that's going to attract one person's attention at the very least down to the bot lane to clear those minions, to make sure that your inhibitor, that your base is safe from that, and, then you're one player down for the ensuing Baron fight. But unfortunately, it looks like we're going to go ahead and have a pause, but hey, at least it's not during a team fight.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of a pause coming out here. So it looks like Rux has a little bit of a connection issue. He's going to disconnect back out. I have my chat turned off, so if the players are putting in updates into the lobby, if you would kindly let us know.
No, they're just saying Rux DC'd.
Oh, okay, cool. Hopefully we'll be able to get back out here very, very quickly. We'll take a second and check the items across the map. Does that sound like a plan there, Asa?
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's take a look at some of the items here. We have one thing is the build on Varus. So he's gone for the Blade of the Ruined King Infinity Edge, which is a good item combination for him. The Blade of the Ruined King first really helps him out quite a bit, because he's going to be able to proc his Blighted Quiver over and over and over and over again really, really quickly. And on top of that, it also gives him a little bit more escape potential, since in his kit as it stands, he doesn't have any escapes. So he's going to have to rely on Flash, he's going to have to rely on the active from Blade of the Ruined King in order to do that. So that's a really good item on Varus.
Alright, so we're going to hop back to live here. It's going to look a little bit awkward as the fast forward. Actually, I think I can just stop the fast forward and it'll be just about right back at live. Alright, so come back in. Rux able to get that connection issue diagnosed and fixed. And we're hopping right back into this one. To me, I was also I really like the fact that Mega Zero has completed the Ravenous Hydra. So if he wants to go full split push mode, he can do so. But they've actually decided to give the split push preference over to Chuper. They looked at Chuper and they said, okay, Chuper's got the QSS, so he doesn't have to just stand around while Sion hits him with a full combo after full combo. So they said, okay, at this point, Chuper can take anybody 1v1. Let's get that Vayne split pushing. Let's really crank up that farm and see what kind of pressure we can apply across the map.
Speaking of cranking up that farm, 270, the most in the entire game at the moment. Actually, no, probably just barely with that Wraith Camp got a little bit more in terms of his CS. But either way, Chuper's been farming this entire time in the bot lane. He's been pushing so much. And by the time the team fights come around where Chuper is actually in the team fight, he's going to come out of nowhere. Suddenly, there's going to be so much more damage in this next team fight than there was in the fights where Chuper wasn't there. It's going to be it's going to come as a surprise to Curse Academy, and it's going to be hard for them to deal with, especially since, I'm not seeing too much in terms of defensive items for them. I'm seeing, let's see, we have Sion going for the Seeker's Arm Guard, but we know that's going to build in towards a Zhonya's, and which is part of his core kit in general. Jarvan is really building tanky, which obviously he's Jarvan, he's serving as their main tank, and Elise is actually going the tanky route as well, so they do have a little bit of tankiness, but all in all, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to combat the Vayne once it gets into the late game.
I just love this play coming out here from Complexity. Look at how they're applying pressure across the map. They have Mega Zero pushing in the top lane so that if anyone tries to go and shut down the Vayne, which they do have Gragas there to support as well, then they're going to be able to get towers up in the top lane. So he probably tried to get in and get something done, see if they could pick up a kill there. Jackson is, however, going to flash away as soon as he recognized the danger, and they're going to try to chase the remaining members of Complexity back out of this bottom lane now.
They will, and all the meanwhile, the other members of Complexity are still pushing, and Megazir are going to go ahead and fight Rux in the top lane once again. Good to know he still wins those engagements, dodging past a Cocoon, so he's going to keep up the split pushing power. Nami and Hecarim still mid pushing as well as they can. Probably and Chuper in the bot lane got a lot of wave clear and tower damage between them. They're going to try to kill Jaximus. Oh wow. So many crits from Chuper right there, as well as the burst from Polly. They're just going to be able to take him down extremely quickly right there, and it's a 4v5 at this point. They have even more split push power, or they could force an engagement in the mid lane. Either way, it looks like they're going to keep split pushing, which, it's a good idea either way. They're going to be able to take a tower either way. Good play by Complexity.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the issues with Sion is he's so cooldown based, and until you actually have a Zhonya's Hourglass, if you get caught with your shield down, which is exactly what happened there to Jaximus, the second the shield went down, Chuper just jumped on him and did a ton of damage. Probably was able to body slam into range, put him back into the wall with the explosive cast there, and that was kind of all she wrote. I mean, he's just sure he can get a lot of HP, but he doesn't have a lot of defensive stats, so he's really until like the super late stages of the game, and just like that, Vayne Gragas, that's enough burst to take him down.
Certainly enough burst, especially at this point. As I mentioned before, Chuper, he's got so much farm at this point. 293.
Cocoon, Ignite goes down, trying to chase onto Mega Zero. Mega Zero just going to pop the ultimate and will be able to back himself away from that one. These two top laners, I mean, you got to give credit to Rux. Despite the fact that he's building mostly tanky, he's getting enough damage out just because of Elise's kit. He's able to keep Renekton honest and keep him from just standing up in that lane all day long.
Yeah, and that's really what he wants to do. We've been seeing him do that the entire game so far, is keep someone's attention top lane. Most of the time it's been Rux, and even though Rux, he's 2-1-3, he hasn't been able to help in team fights nearly as much as he wanted to, while MegaZero was keeping him in the top lane the entire time. Now the unfortunate part is the fact that MegaZero, his ultimate is down right now, so he's not going to have that for the next fight, which is actually pretty substantial. Renekton's ultimate is huge in a team fight, putting down AoE damage to whoever stands near him, and it looks like he's getting caught out now.
Gets hit by the cocoon, will be able to get himself back out of range, probably going to go ahead and teleport back into the middle of this fight. We see the flash coming out there. One bad Brad going to go down. Chuper is able to pick up that kill. Crescendo goes down, locking up as many people as they can, but Chuper, there's no one controlling him right now. He picks up a triple kill. Vayne is just going crazy. Rux comes down from the rappel. That's going to be the quadra. Chuper chasing everybody down out of this one, and Complexity going to take a massive team fight win.
Complexity looking so strong right there. You mentioned it during the team fight. No one was there to stop Chuper. He was basically near the outskirts of the fight, taking down one bad Brad. Then he moved on to Fabi. Then he moved on to Jaximus and then Rux. And by that time, there wasn't really anything that Curse Academy could do about it. And this might actually end the game right here. 11 seconds on one bad Brad. Yeah, they're going to be able to take this second Nexus Tower. They're going to go for the Nexus right afterwards. GG Complexity taking this game against Curse Academy. They're going 3-1, whereas Curse Academy, they're sitting at 2-2 now.
Really, really nice, how do I say this? Nice capitalization there by Complexity, recognizing the opportunity, going in for a massive team fight, and seeing that they had just enough time on the death timers to push through the entire base and take down the Nexus. Really, really solid play there, and congratulations to Complexity, grabbing the win in the second game.